I have been taking care of 17 blueberries in my front yard garden for over a decade. That is a long time to take care of blueberries. We've done a blueberry planting guide, so today I'm going to show you how I take care of these guys on an ongoing basis. We're covering pruning, fertilizing, dealing with pests and diseases, watering, and the best part, harvesting and storage. Hi guys, I'm April from Resprout. Like and subscribe for more garden tips and tutorials for my suburban front yard garden where I help you garden like a boss. First things first, if you haven't planted your blueberries yet, go check out our blueberry planting guide where I cover varieties, types, choosing locations, pollination, setting up your soil, when to plant, spacing, and more. If you already have these suckers in the ground, keep watching. My blueberries are planted in ground and set up as a hedge along my driveway. My arch enemies are weeds and grass that are perpetually creeping up. Not only do weeds steal moisture and nutrients from blueberries, but the very act of weeding disturbs the blueberry's shallow roots. And worse, if you use a string trimmer instead of hand weeding, you run the risk of damaging the main stems or completely destroying the new stems, which is what rejuvenates the plant every year. And don't even get me started on lawnmowers. Wait till you see what happened this week. This last blueberry bush in the hedge had an argument with the lawnmower and did not win. All of these issues bring me to today's awesome sponsor, EdgeRite. Last year, I installed their amazing steel edging around all the rows in my trellis area. I loved it so much, I had to get more for the blueberry bed. They've even upgraded their edging with new rolled safety edges and notches that allow the connector clips to sit flush. It was a super easy install. All I needed was a spade to dig a straight line and a hammer. Because of how deep this edging goes and that hard edge, the weeds won't be able to creep into the rows. And when they do, it will be so much easier to see and deal with them. I'm even hoping this stuff will keep the blackberry suckers out of my blueberry bed. And this time, I even added corner connectors and an end piece to create a better boundary of protection for the whole row. Especially for this first blueberry here, may he rest in peace. To top it off, this edging is perfect for holding in mulch, which further keeps weeds in check and moisture at ideal levels. This stuff really looks professional in a front yard garden like mine. If you're looking to reduce maintenance and upgrade the look of your garden, I definitely recommend checking out EdgeRite's awesome line of edging. You can check out links to all their products in the description below. Speaking of mulch, one of the best things you can do for your blueberries is to mulch them. Mulch helps cut down on weeds and weeding duties and retains moisture, which cuts down on watering duties. It also protects the shallow roots from the shock of direct application of fertilizer and amendments. This year for mulch, I'm using composted pine shavings and horse manure from a local stable, but you could also use leaves, straw, bark, wood chips, or for added acidity, pine needles. The best time to amend is when you plant, but likely if you have neutral or alkaline soil, you'll need to amend on a regular basis in addition to that. If you've watched our planting video, you know that blueberries prefer an acidic soil with a pH on the lower side between 4 and 5.5. If the pH is too high, the plants can get discolored and will grow slower. First, do a soil test to see where you're at. I've used liquid kits in the past, but I currently use this awesome digital tester and I am loving it. If you need to acidify your soil, your best bet is a soil acidifier amendment. You can apply it at a rate of about 2 to 3 cups per plant, depending on the brand and the size of your plants. Sulfur also decreases pH. You can apply that at 1.5 pounds per 100 square feet. One thing you want to avoid around blueberries is limestone, also called lime. That increases pH. Also avoid aluminum sulfate, which does decrease pH, but it's toxic to blueberries in excess. If your amendment is labeled as blueberry specific, you're safe. Check out the description below for all of our product recommendations. If your pH is already good for blueberries, a balanced 7-7-7 or 10-10-10 garden and vegetable fertilizer will be all you need. If your blueberries need acidification and also fertilizer, you can do double duty with an acid fertilizer. Fertilizers marketed for blueberries are perfect because they avoid nitrogen and nitrate form, which blueberries are sensitive to.
Get a pen, people, because this fertilizer schedule is about to get real.
The year you plant, 3 to 4 weeks after planting, use 1/8 of a cup of a 777 fertilizer or 1/4 of a cup of a 433 per plant. The second year, in the spring, do slightly more fertilizer, 1/4 of a cup of a 777 or 1/2 a cup of a 644. Every year after that, in the spring, just keep increasing the fertilizer by 1/8 or 1/4 of a cup. If the bushes get too much growth, just back off the fertilizer a little bit. No matter your plant's age, do a second application at the same rate 4 to 6 weeks later, about the time the blueberries are forming. To apply, sprinkle the fertilizer around the drip line of each plant, lightly scratch it in, and water well. During their first 2 years, plants need 1 to 2 inches of water a week. You can track how much water your garden is getting with a rain gauge.
I use one, and when I'm organized, I empty it once a week. But let's be real, this is just another excuse to buy some cute little piece of garden art and say you are monitoring plant health.
After the first few years, just make sure the first few inches of soil are damp. I live in the Northeast United States, and we get about 45 to 55 inches of rain per year. So for the most part, I don't water these guys anymore. Right now, we are in the middle of a drought and a heat wave. So you can see the blueberries are shriveling up a bit and are definitely on the smaller side. I need to get out here and water. I have a soaker hose irrigation system I also use for more regular gardening.
Let us know in the comments what the rainfall is in your area and how you manage to keep your blueberries from getting too thirsty.
Like most woody shrubs and berries, the best time to prune blueberries is when they're dormant in the winter or early spring. To keep the plants productive, prune 20% of the canes off every year. Remove any that are diseased, damaged, rubbing other canes, growing horizontally, are too thin to support fruit, or are whitish gray, which means they're older branches. You'll also want to remove the flower buds the first 2 years. This helps the plant focus on getting established. You can clip, pinch, or rub the flowers off.
Now, these are the pruning basics. If you're looking for a more in-depth tutorial, let me know down in the comments.
Blueberry pests can affect fruit yields and the health of the plant as a whole. Common pests include Japanese beetles, leafhoppers, and aphids. And the University of Michigan Extension lists almost 40 different blueberry diseases. If you are wrestling with a particular disease or pest, try to ID it either online or with your local garden groups first. I'll leave some resources in the description. Generally though, you can reduce your risk for disease and pests by making sure your plants are pruned properly, spaced for good airflow, well watered, and have good soil health. Healthy plants are more resistant to attack. You can even plant varieties that are resistant to the diseases and pests in your areas. If you do end up treating your blueberries, try to choose either mechanical or organic methods to reduce impact on the beneficial critters in our gardens that help keep our plants healthy. Birds are a whole nother kind of pest particular to blueberries. They deserve their own section in this video.
There are a seemingly endless number of ways to get rid of birds, supposedly.
Some I have not tried are scent deterrents, noise deterrents, guard animals, shooting them, chopping them, electric fences, reducing habitat, spraying water, using smoke,
or falconry. For reals, guys, falconry. If you guys have tried any of these, let us all know in the comments. Yo, especially if you have a falcon, because I definitely want to hear about that. Now, I live in suburbia. I cannot have a falcon. And some of these they just sound like a bad idea, or they wouldn't work for me.
One I have tried is bird netting, which according to a Utah State University survey was the most effective.
I had the worst experience with this stuff though.
I laid it on top of the bushes like they tell you, and within 2 days, a bird actually got tangled in it and died, reducing me to a complete blubbering idiot.
After researching this, I found that this was super common. To make matters worse, whenever I moved the blueberry netting, it would rip off the berries. I would definitely not recommend using it, but if you must use bird netting, 2 important tips.
1, keep the netting very tight on a cage or frame of some kind, not the plants.
And 2, make sure there's no opening that the bird can get trapped inside, because the birds will definitely find a way inside.
Another alternative is row cover cloth, which I use to protect other areas of the garden from frost and squirrels. Birds are not going to get tangled in this. Mosquito netting works too. Bees can't get through the row cover to pollinate though, so wait to put the cover on the blueberries until after the berries have formed and the bees have done their work.
For my part, I have a design in my head very similar to my compost sifter for some portable A-frame hardware cloth units that will keep the berries and the birds safe. Let me know if you guys are interested and I can make a video on that build.
If you are pinching off the buds the first 2 years, year 3 is when you can expect your first blueberries. Unless you have a special colored variety, you'll want to pick berries when they are deep dark blue with 0 shades of pink, lavender, or green on them. They should be slightly soft, but if they're shriveled or brown looking, you have waited too long. If you're not using a bird deterrent of some kind, I would highly recommend picking daily because it's the ripe blueberries that get the birds' attention.
And once one bird finds out about your bushes, they're gonna tell all of their bird friends, and then the party is over. Except their party is not over. They're about to have a big party in your garden.
You can pick blueberries by hand or use a special berry rake. I've used a rake on my currants and it's super fast, but I haven't tried it yet on my blueberries. Check your blueberries to see if a berry rake would work for you. Most of my blueberry fruits ripen at different times, so I'm not sure it would work well for my varieties. Once you've picked your blueberries, store them in the fridge in a shallow container so they don't get squished. Just don't wash them until you're about to eat them. You can also wash them and freeze them immediately. I freeze berries by putting them on cookie sheets. They go into the chest freezer for a day, and then I transfer them to freezer bags long term.
Now that you guys are blueberry experts, I'm gonna start a little friendly competition in the comments. Share with us how many pounds of blueberries you grow a year. What is your super secret, especially if you do that with a falcon?
I hope this video helped you out. Remember to sign up for my email newsletter for more garden resources, and keep gardening like a boss, and I'll see you guys soon.